Okay, hello, good evening. My name is Steven Saldarriaga, and today I will be talking about what I believe to be one of the more significant moments in oceanography history, that being John Harrison and the longitude problem. Now, before continuing, we should really know what longitude is. Essentially, it is a geographic coordinate that helps measure the distance between east or west of the prime meridian, which serves as the 0th degree of longitude. Additionally, longitude are imaginary lines that run pole to pole, meaning north to south, North Pole to South Pole, dividing the world into this sort of graph, all of which is measured in degrees, minutes, and seconds. Now, honestly, why is longitude important? As a recap, it measures the distance between west and or east of the prime meridian. Additionally, latitude helps us understand the pattern of wind circulations on Earth's surface. Latitude is opposite of longitude. We measure latitude through imaginary lines that run east to west of the world. For example, here depicted is the far left globe. You see the lines going across left to east, and the equator being the more important one. We combine both longitude and latitude to help us pinpoint and identify any location we are on this world. This was especially important for navigating ships back then to avoid following a more familiar path known to other ships and to prevent ships from getting lost in the vast ocean. Now, I will go ahead and talk about what events led to the creation of the longitude problem, which means it's a simple attempt to find the most accurate form of longitude. There was actually once a British Navy fleet who ended up crashing in some rocks off the Isles of Scilly. This was disastrous for England at the time since they had suffered so many casualties. For example, among the casualties was 1,000+ men, even an admiral who had died, and 3 sunken ships. This forced Parliament to act quickly in an attempt to create a safer navigation route. They then passed the Longitude Act of 1714 that established a panel of renowned scientists to test out people's theories on how to properly and accurately measure longitude. I should also mention there was an added incentive of about 20,000 euros, all of which adds up to $3 million today, all of which is supervised and by that appointed panel. This news prompted many scientists throughout the region to throw their days immediately to the panel, except for one man, that man being John Harrison, who did not start his attempt to solve longitude until about 10 years after the news was dropped to the public. So John Harrison, a little bit of background information, was born in April of 1963 as a 5th child to a carpenter. He was self-educated, never received a formal education, and even taught himself how to create clocks. He was amongst the first to create an effective, precise clock, which had a long case. And this type of clock is like the concept of this type of clock is still actually used throughout England today. Once he actually joined the quest, he thought to create a sea clock. Which would board a ship in order to, since he figured that in order to find longitude, one must know the precise time of 2 different locations at the same time. I should also mention John Harrison was extremely obsessed with accuracy and precision. Now he had gone through so many clocks. This is the reason being is because of the external factors that would come while on board a ship. So the rocking of the ship would actually distort the ticks of the clock and the pendulum swing. And the variations of temperature, gravity, and atmospheric pressure would damage the clock and its materials on the long voyages. It wasn't until he created the sea clock, or H4, as depicted in the picture here to the left, that looks exactly like a small pocket watch, that had an accuracy as close to the second after a month of close observation and sailing to Kingston, Jamaica. He presented this to the panel, and although almost perfectly accurate, they rejected his first trial since there was only one watch of its kind. So the panel went ahead and asked him to make two identical watches. And after creating two identical watches to that of the first H4, the panel still rejected his idea, citing that astrology was more of the way to go since it was a little bit more precise, they thought. Now, frustrated and already in his late 70s, which means he didn't have much time left, he appealed to the highest authority of the land, which was at the time King George III, who conducted his own 10-week investigation and concluded that Harrison's watch was a marvel of new technology. He then gave him only part of the promised amount and recognized John Harrison as the name who solved the longitude problem. Thanks to his discovery, this paved a more modern approach of discovering longitude and latitude. Through GPS systems and satellites, we are now able to pinpoint exactly where we are in the world within seconds of application. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.